Welcome to Graduate Spotlight, a presentation of College Success Arizona. This program features the hardworking college graduates who have earned scholarships from College Success Arizona and are now in the workforce or continuing with their education. Today on Graduate Spotlight, we interview Salvador Macias.
Yeah, I was born in Aguascalientes, Mexico. That roughly translates to hot water, Mexico. But I came here at a young age. I came to the United States and made Phoenix my home. So I've been living here about over 2 decades.
And how old were you when you came to the U.S. and to Phoenix?
I was a 4-year-old when I first entered the U.S.
And how old are you now?
I am 27. Time flies.
And where did you graduate from high school?
I went to North High School, and I graduated in 2009. Right around the time, there was a lot of negativity around immigrants at the time, but I still had a good support system and the right mentors that kind of put me in the direction of college success.
So 2009, you graduate high school. Let's bring it up to the present. You recently graduated with your law degree.
Yes. So right after graduating from high school, I went to Arizona State University, where I got 2 bachelor's degrees, one in political science and one in trans-border Chicano-Latino studies. I also got a minor in Spanish. I did take a year off to work at a nonprofit that helps high school students prepare for the college process, just because I felt like we need to give back. And while I was there, they motivated me to go to law school. So then I got accepted into the Arizona State Law School, Sandra Day Connor School of Law. Graduated this past May 2017, and pretty excited because now I'm an official attorney.
And what are you doing so far as work as an attorney?
I'm working with the law offices of Daniel Rodriguez. He also was an immigrant who came to the U.S. at a young age. He's honestly just a couple years older than I am. So he has this vision of having a dreamer-run firm. So he practices the family law and immigration law and is bringing me in to do more of the immigration work, but also about helping out in family law.
And when you say do more of the immigration work, what are you talking about specifically? What are you doing in the day-to-day environment?
Yeah, so my day-to-day comes with some pretty big highs and some pretty low lows. At moments, we're helping the individuals fill out their immigration petitions to petition for a relative, a spouse, a child, hoping to get their citizenship. And those are always really rewarding moments. Unfortunately, it also comes with some downsides, which is a family member who came to our office who doesn't know or hasn't heard of her husband and is wondering if they're detained, if they're in the deportation proceedings. So doing all we can to not only try to get them out on bond, but actually helping them in their immigration case and seeing if there's any relief possible for their family member.
It sounds like the immigration side of what you're doing specifically would be loaded with challenges, because it seems with DACA and a lot of this legislation, some of these laws and policies seem temporary and they seem like they're constantly changing or being tied up in court. So I imagine that has that presents its own a certain amount of difficulty for you.
Oh, yeah. So every day I'm constantly listening to the news as I'm working, because we live in a culture right now where things shouldn't be shifting so quickly in terms of laws, but an executive order is being done here, a possible resolution is being worked on there, and we have to be constantly aware because our clients expect us to be. On top of this, it directly affects me personally because I still don't have permanent residency status. I am a dreamer. I have DACA status. So at any given time, I'm trying to be prepared for my clients, but I'm also preparing for myself.
And does that make your job even more difficult because maybe you're preparing a case around a certain type of defense or narrative, and then if a policy shifts or there's something contentious or controversial going on with immigration and DACA, it may completely change what you're doing and how you're presenting your case to the court. Is that accurate?
Correct. And it's unfortunate because even when there is promising information on the horizon, we can go to court and the government attorney, the ICE attorney, could easily turn it around and say, Your Honor, that's speculation. We don't know if what's going to happen is actually going to happen. So our clients, any form of relief that we can find, some of them only have their DACA status. And if they lose that, or if that seems to be disappearing, we have a harder time trying to find relief for them.
And this might seem like kind of an odd question, but it doesn't seem like immigration law that it would be particularly lucrative. Is that accurate? And you're doing it more out of passion to help people?
I think growing up, we always romanticize these positions of, oh, I'm an attorney, so I'm going to be making pretty good money. And to be honest, some of my classmates really are, but I know the demographic of people that we serve, and they're barely making ends meet. They are individuals who are, by definition, living paycheck to paycheck. And it's tough because we have to strike a balance between being paid for our services adequately, at the same time understanding that our clients can't provide us with the typical big firm experience. So, for example, while big firms charge by the hour, and you hear in movies and in TV shows of, well, if you speak to the attorney, it's going to be X amount of dollars to speak for him for an hour. We can't really do that in immigration law. So what we usually do is a flat fee with our clients. And, yeah, that sometimes means that we have to answer a lot more calls than we would like because of the casework and the amount of work that we have. But there is, if we were to charge them hourly, there's no way we'd ever see that money.
And now that you are an attorney, you've gone through all of this this time and expense and academic challenge and struggle, I'm sure, and you're an attorney working immigration law, and you've been doing it by the sounds of it for a few months now. Has that intensified your resolve and maybe passion for immigration law, or has it maybe caused you to maybe rethink what you want to do in terms of practicing law, which sector of the law you practice in?
When I was in law school, you get exposed to all these different areas of law, the different classes we take. And to be honest, for a while there, I really questioned what I wanted to do. Up until that moment, I thought I wanted to be an immigration attorney, and that's the direction I wanted to take. But while in law school, you're just exposed to so many different areas. It wasn't until, at least for me personally, the election results last year. And just to stray away from the political, I just felt personally it was going to be a very difficult time for immigrants, both for legal immigration and illegal immigration. And I think that defining moment brought some clarity to me, and I realized that this is something that I need to do, not only for myself, but for my community. Not against America, but on the contrary, I think that a lot of immigrants are Americans in heart. They may not be in paper yet, but that doesn't mean that they're not contributing to the story that America is telling.
And we hear cases occasionally where students graduate from a college or, graduate with a degree, maybe in business or education. They go be a teacher and they don't like it. And they end up, going and doing something completely different. Are you enjoying being an attorney? Is it everything you thought and hoped it would be?
It is. It's a lot of work. I know, for example, yesterday I was at work for 12 hours. So that can be challenging. But I do think I'm in the right place at the right time right now. Before becoming an attorney, I always thought being an attorney as a stepping stone to something else. And that really hasn't changed. I think that I really like seeing businesses grow, and I like community engagement. So for a long time there, I thought I was going to follow down this path of being a politician or running for office one day. And I've strayed from that idea now, not so much because I don't think it's important, but we live in a really hyper-partisan time, and I actually like to think of myself more as a moderate, as an independent. And a lot of my mentors, I have mentors that lean right and that lean left, but they are able to bridge gaps in communications between these two ideologies, and I think that's something that I'm more interested in. I think I would like to own a business one day, whether that's in something else or operating my own firm, and I'd like to be a member of the community that can bring these two individuals to a table for lunch. And let's just talk out to see if there's any way that we can possibly talk, make a deal, you name it. Because I think in Spanish there's a saying, hablando se entiende la gente. which translates to people understand each other when they actually speak to each other. So I think that's something that I want to be able to do in the future.
Abogado, right? Abogado?
Yeah, abogado.
Abogado. Okay, I'll get it. All right, and I guess when you look back to College Success Arizona, and you've had quite a path since 2009, graduating North High School in 2009, May of 2017, you graduate from really arguably one of the top law schools in the country, Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law. Now you're practicing immigration law with a firm right here in Phoenix. How critical was college success in getting you that far through that journey?
It was monumental. I can honestly say that I would not be here if it wasn't for College Success Arizona. I remember applying to the program and hearing about the program from one of my mentors. And yes, of course, that first step were the essays, and then that next step were the interviews. I remember at the time, I had applied to 8 different schools, and unfortunately did not have enough funding to cover any one of those institutions, including ASU. I remember I was student body president at North High, so I was one of the first people to walk on stage. And when they gave me my diploma, I could honestly say I had no idea where my future was. I pictured a moment where I was going to go to California, work landscaping with my uncle, and maybe go to community college. But the day after my graduation, I got a letter in the mail from College Success saying I had a full ride, and that changed everything for me. If it were not for that full ride, I probably would not have gone to Arizona State, and my life would be in a completely different path.
And who was your success advisor through College Success Arizona?
For the first year, my advisor was actually Lisa Buttinger, and then followed by Marjorie DeRubis. They always kept made sure that I was doing fine. They answered any questions that I had. I fell in love with the program so much that I actually encouraged my younger brother to apply, and he also is a recipient of a scholarship to College Success, and he's actually graduating from Arizona State University this May.
And what's his name?
His name is Carlos Macias.
Carlos Macias. Excellent. And you mentioned Marjorie DeRubius, and I believe you said Lisa acting as your mentors. How critical, beyond the financial support of the scholarship, which provides about $6,000 a year while you're in college, how critical was that mentoring to guide you through the process, being a first-generation student, the process of college?
It was crucial. At that time, I'm the first in my family to have attended college, so I needed to speak with someone who actually understood the college process. My parents, they always supported me, but to them, college is this mythical land that I would go to every morning. But with my mentors, I was able to talk to them about my midterms and my finals, and what I could see in any question that I had about ASU.
And your parents, how critical were they and other members of your family in encouraging you to attend and then complete college?
My mom always told me that, considering my immigration status, she always told me, if one day you want to be an American, you have to do well in school. And that was the thing that motivated me, starting from preschool onward. Thankfully, it kept me motivated. It got my grades up. And even once I started college, when my parents didn't understand it, they still made it a point to encourage me and telling me how proud of them they were, and helping out any way they could, whether that was helping me pay for my book a semester, or if it meant just packing a lunch for me. So I would take the bus and the light rail at the time from 51st Avenue in McDowell. So that's an hour and a half public commute. So it would be difficult for me to come home for lunch. So my mom, even if it meant packing a granola bar for me, she did what she could.
And for middle and high school students back at North High School and other places who may be listening to this, can you offer some advice?
Don't give up. And I know that sounds cliche, but everyone in the world will be telling you about all these boundaries and all these issues that are going to come and head your way, all this negativity. I can't begin to tell you how many times I was told, you're not going to go to college because of who you are. And now I'm the one speaking to those same individuals because now they're reaching out to me for legal advice, or they're just reaching out to me for what can I do to go to college. So please don't give up.
And you look back through all these years of college, and you look back at graduating from high school, then graduating from college. What was the best part of the whole experience?
Looking back, I can honestly say it's the people that you meet. My colleagues, my peers in classes, they're now professionals, and I feel like I have this connection and this web of communication with individuals that are making a difference in Phoenix. Some of my fraternity brothers have worked for College Success Arizona, and one of them still currently does as well. So it means the world to me to have individuals who I can reach out to if I need help buying a home, if I need help doing my taxes, if I need to speak to someone who works with the police department. I have those connections because of the individuals that I met in college.
Earlier, you talked about maybe owning your own business someday outside of law or operating your own law firm. Do you have a specific goal in mind, 5-10 years down the road?
Yes, there's two. One of the things that I would like to do is I'd like to invest in some sort of property and to rent it out. One of the things that I would like to see is maybe renting out a 4 to 5 unit property that I can rent out as a small apartment complex. It's something small, but I think with the way the future is going, I can't really bank on Social Security being there when I get older. I can't really bank on even my 401k being enough. So I'm just trying to make the right plans for my future. As far as any other business, I think there's a community here in Phoenix, specifically first generation to second generation individuals who live in this in-between world of Mexican tradition or Latino tradition and American culture. So one of the things that Latinos have a fondness of are, they call them neverias, which is basically ice cream shops. Unfortunately, the Latino community hasn't really have a proper business plan developed for these kind of businesses, and they kind of look like just little rundown little shops. So my idea is turning a neveria into something of a cold stone or something of a froyo, where people can go and take the dates or just hang out with their families on the weekends and take them out for ice cream. That's just a thought.
And a final question, Salvador, do you have any hobbies or interests beyond the career, beyond the law?
Yeah, I mean, I always enjoyed salsa dancing and merengue. But right now, to be frank, most of my attention is going to my family. My wife, who is also a dreamer, also found a way to go to college, also got her master's degree. She's actually about to give birth in the next couple weeks. So all my attention is actually being taken up with my future daughter, and I'm pretty excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the interview, Salvador. And by the way, since 2005, College Success Arizona has worked with nearly 1,300 students just like Salvador and provided more than $16 million in scholarships and success services to help increase the college attainment rates in our state. If you would like to be part of the mission of providing educational opportunity to high-potential students from low-income circumstances, your tax-deductible contribution can be made through the Donate button located on the College Success Arizona website at collegesuccessarizona.org.